to another episode of the Employee to Boss podcast. I'm your host, Haley Hayhurst. Today on the show, I have one of my past clients, Mary, the owner of the Joy Formula. This episode is all about showing up as your authentic self and really about how Mary grew her following relatively quickly, but really she attracted all of the right people onto her accounts. So for a little backstory, Mary and I hit 1,000 followers at about the same time, and she currently, across all of her platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, has a combined following of about 70,000 people. She really blew up on TikTok, but we talk about how she did this, really like how you can recreate this, and what this meant for her and her business and kind of like the different strategies. So Mary is a coach for women who want to get shit done and live their best life and be their true authentic selves. And this is what she preaches all the time. And truly, it's really incredible. I absolutely love everything that she shares. I have been a fan of her reels since the first day she started creating them. And so if you're really looking to grow your brand and show up authentically and, like Mary teaches, be your best self, this episode is for you. I really thought this episode was perfect timing because, the year is almost over and people are creating their New Year's resolutions. And Mary has a course called Make Shit Happen. Create the next level you and cultivate joy through your future self-design, intention setting, and daily micro shifts. So a little bit from her sales page is, how would it feel if you stopped thinking about what you wanted to do and finally start doing it? And what if I told you it was possible, while also cultivating joy and feeling like you have a purpose? So if you're interested in Mary's course after listening to this episode, check all the links in the show notes. You can connect with her on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all through there. And if you are looking to make changes in 2023 to your life and becoming your best self, I would highly, highly recommend checking out Mary's course. The direct link to that is thejoyformula.me/enroll. So without any further ado, let's get right into this episode. Hi, Mary. Welcome to the podcast. I'm really excited to catch up with you today.
Hey, Haley. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm super psyched. It's been way too long since we've chatted last.
And your business has seriously transformed since we were working together. I want to say, how many months ago is that? Maybe 6 months ago, maybe longer.
Yeah, I think it was like a year ago.
A year ago. Okay. More, right?
I don't even remember. I don't know where the time has gone.
I know. This year's been crazy. But I remember we were both hitting the 1,000 follower mark at the exact same time. And I'm like at 1,200 right now, and you're at 18,000. On Instagram, right?
26,700. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you've obviously been doing so many amazing things that I'm excited to talk about because TikTok was big for you. Instagram is big for you. But to start, do you just want to tell us your amazing story of how you actually got into entrepreneurship?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I was a nurse for about 13 and a half years, and I did everything. I started in a level 1 trauma center in Fort Lauderdale, working ER in a 75-bed emergency room. I think it was like 75 beds. It was a lot. And then from there, I got onto the trauma team as a lead trauma nurse. And I did that for a couple years. And then I wanted to move to Colorado. I'd never been here. And that's the person I am. I just say, that's what I want to do. So I'm going to go do it and make it happen. And so I packed up my stuff and I moved out here and worked in an ER in Boulder, Colorado. And then I was tired of working in the ER. I wanted to try something new. So I went to the ICU. So I've worked level 1 trauma, ER, all high acuity, neurotrauma, ICU. And then I was feeling burnt out. And so I went to an urgent care in Boulder where everybody told me I was going to be bored. And I was like, good. I need to be forward in nursing right now. And so I did that for several years and I really enjoyed it. However, I started becoming burnt out again. And I just didn't feel like this was what I loved to do. And I feel like I loved nursing in the beginning. Like I loved the adrenaline of it and the excitement and really taking care of people and being able to change people's lives, like make them feel better physically and mentally a lot of the times. I do have a master's degree in counseling. And so it all kind of ties together. I've always loved helping others in any way possible. And so I was getting burnt out, but I was just, settling for what I had to do, just like most people do. But the type of person I am is just like, I can't, if I'm not happy right now, I'm not going to be happy in a year or 2 years. And I don't want to settle. Life is short. As a nurse, I saw it every single day that you never know when your last day is up. You just never know. And I didn't want to settle anymore. And so I decided to start writing a blog and see where that went. And I started a little Facebook group. And as I was doing that, I was really enjoying it. And I could tell like this is something that felt really purposeful to me. And that feels good, right? We want to be doing things that are purposeful and we feel like we're fulfilling some kind of purpose in our life. And so I kept doing that. And then I said, you know what? I'm getting out of nursing. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to leave in March. And it happened to be March 2020. So we all know what happened in March 2020.
Oh, yes. Yep.
So, and I was a supervisor in urgent care and COVID hit. And I said, I can't leave my team. Like, I just can't do that to these other nurses. And so I stuck it out and no one knew how long this was going to last. And the months went by, we turned into a COVID clinic and it was the last straw for me. It really was. Like I was already burnt out and then going through COVID in a COVID clinic was exhausting. Not only COVID, but then the politics inside of my job with my management and all of the other things that were going on. So I said, you know what? I'm done. I stuck around for the team long enough. And it was November of 2020. And I decided, so exactly 2 years ago, almost probably to the day, I decided I'm done. I'm putting in my notice and I will figure it out. I had no savings. I had no money really, just what I was making from nursing. And I wanted to visit my mom in Florida. I hadn't seen her in over a year. I hadn't seen anybody. I didn't even go to the grocery stores because I was exposed all the time. So I always ordered Amazon Fresh, which was amazing and still is. So I said, you know what? I'm leaving nursing. I'm putting in my notice. I'm financing an RV with no money. And I'm driving across the country. I'd never even been in an RV, but I was going to drive from Colorado to Florida and start my business because I wanted to help women cultivate joy and live their best lives, just like I was about to do and just like I was trying to do in my life. So that was it. That's what I did. And I did it. I followed through and I did it. I put in my notice and I was like, holy shit. Now I've got to do something. I've got to make this happen,
Yeah.
And so I did. It was a struggle. There were a lot of challenges, obstacles that I faced, a lot of days that I felt like this is never going to work. But here I am.
But here you are. And every time I hear your story, I get goosebumps because I'm like, you just did it. You just went for it. You and your dogs driving across the country. Like, it's just incredible. And I think that's really what makes like your story so powerful for others to hear because you went from a nurse's salary to figuring it all out on your own, which is scary.
Mm-hmm.
Scary to go from like a paycheck, like a consistent paycheck, to having full opportunities on your whole income, right? Like there's no ceiling, but there's no floor, and it could go however it goes. And I know for you, like your resilience is something that really is powerful to see because when we were working together, you were like building your following and you were, feeling some frustration around like the speed and the growth and things like that. And then all of a sudden you get on TikTok and like how many followers did you get in such a short amount of time?
Oh my gosh. I
It
don't
was
know, like
crazy.
40,000. I forgot to mention that in the interim while I was still nursing, I went to get we didn't even talk about this, but I went to go get certified as a coach, a holistic health and mindset coach. So that's what I do. I've just figured that with nursing, psychology background, and coaching that I could do it. And yeah, so I was really struggling on social media a lot with getting views, just like a lot of people do still, right? And people always look at it and they say, "Oh, I just need to make that one video," right? People are like, "Oh man, it was that one video that skyrocketed you." And I say, "Yes, maybe that one video helped, but I made hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos before that." It's because I didn't stop, which was hard, because when you're not getting the views, I look at people's accounts right now that they cannot get any, like their views are so low. I'm like, I would give up by now, but you can't. I did it, right? You can't, because it's the consistency and it's the effort and it's showing up, and just doing what you love. And it'll pay you back.
That's a big point, because my reels have been flopping lately. Like, when I say flopping, I mean some of them don't even get 100 views. And I'm like, Instagram, what is up here? But you experienced that in the past, but you don't anymore. And that's because you stuck true to your why. And you're all about cultivating joy and happiness and helping women like really fulfill their life dream. And I think a why is a really big part of that. Do you have tips for getting clear on your why, like solidifying your why deeper than just like, oh, I want to start a business for freedom? Like that, lots of margin for error there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, so I would turn around and say, why? Why do you want to do that? And then someone would give a response. Well, because I want to help, blah, blah. Why? Why do you want to do that? Why? So I always tell my clients, and you may have heard this analogy in the past, it's just like peeling an onion. Just keep peeling back, keep asking why. And just like with an onion, right? You get not emotional, but you tear, right? With onions, when you find your why, when you figure it out, you will get emotional. And that's when you know that you have dug deep enough. Because I can ask my clients, like, why do you want to work with me? Do you want to show up? Why do you want to get healthy? Well, I want to grow old and be healthy. But why? Like, that's so basic. It's at the surface. Let's dig deeper. Well, because, I want to travel and I want to see why. Like, keep going. And 9 times out of 10, the true why is giving back to the greater good of society. I don't know, Simon Sinek, he wrote, oh gosh, Start with Why? He wrote 2 books. I think Start with Why. And he says that our whys are usually giving back to the greater good of society, not just for us. It's for those around us, those that we love, those that we care about.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. And I think it does take a lot of knowing yourself to actually figure out like why you want to do anything, whether that's start a business. And I always think I work with podcasters, right? And so many people come to me and they're like, I want to start a podcast. I've been talking about this for so long. And I always think like when it's meant to happen, you will actually make it happen. And I think that's the same with a lot of things. Like, you didn't want to leave your team back at the hospital to deal with COVID by themselves until you reached it to the point where you were like, I just need to focus on myself. Like, I need to do what makes me happy. And I think that's super powerful.
Yeah, I think especially for women, we put ourselves on the back burner a lot. And we give so much energy to everyone around us that we can't show up as our best self, right? And I think a lot of people look at self-care as selfish. I actually just made a reel on this that it did really well. We look at self-care as selfish, but it's actually the most selfless thing you can do. Not participating in self-care, not taking care of yourself is actually selfish, because then you're not giving your true self, your 100% authentic self, to the people you care about. And that's rude, right?
That is rude. I feel that.
So it was me taking a look at, I kept saying, I can't leave them. I can't leave them. But the person I was showing up as in my job was not supporting them because I was frustrated. I was bitching about things all the time. I came into work just like irritated. Even though I was still meditating and working out, I was done. And so I wasn't, I said, oh, I don't want to leave them. I can't do that to them. But I was not helping them, right, by being there. And so by me leaving benefited both me and my staff and management, because I was up there every day, right? Because I'm a nurse. I have clinical thinking skills. I have been a nurse for a very long time, and we were just having decisions made by non-clinical people, and it was frustrating. And so I was just, so by me making that decision to leave, most people will be like, oh, it's hard, I don't want to hurt them, but it's the best thing for everyone.
It really is. Yeah. No, and that's so true for so many parts of life, honestly.
Right.
Work, relationships,
everything.
Sometimes you just need to be like, I'm done. Your life will be better.
Right.
Yeah, no, but I think that's so great to remember in, like I said, all parts of life. I also want to talk about like your business growth. And so we can talk about the offers that you have now, but I know as you've grown and as you were figuring out like the actual sides of business in the beginning, you were adapting your offerings to that. But your content, I feel, has always stayed the same. Like what you went viral for is the same type of content that you were posting from like day one when I started following you, right? Like your core mission hasn't changed. I think just, I don't know. Do you want to talk about that growth process?
Yeah, I can tell you exactly why I went viral and how I knew that I would, putting these videos out, because this will help your audience really think about the content that they're putting out. So I was doing videos, making reels, making TikToks, just like anybody else. And I even said to my mom, I said, I need to think of something that is quick. It gives people a result and is different, right? I still am a photographer, but I was a photographer for a really long time, professional photographer. I did art shows, and I saw how saturated the photography world was. I mean, and that was many years ago. It's even worse now. And I always thought, I need to stand out. I need to do something different to stand out, because everybody else has the same damn pictures of the maroon bells framed, hanging up. So I did. I thought of something different. I started getting scrap metal and putting my photos on scrap metal, and it actually was, they're really cool, and they did really well. So same thing with social media and my business. And I said to my mom, I said, I need to make short workouts, because the complaints I hear from people is, I don't have time, I don't feel like it, how do I start? Well, you start with really small, tiny micro shifts. This is what I teach you. You take steps that are so simple they're impossible to fail at. And so working out is something big that everybody wants to do, but nobody wants to do, right? So I said, I'm going to make short workouts. I'm going to create 5-minute workouts. I'm going to show the videos in less than a minute because we didn't have more than a minute on any platform at the time. And I kept saying, I said, Mom, as soon as I make this video, it's going to go viral, because people are going to be like, oh my God, I can do this at my desk. I can do. And it's exactly what happened, because it was different. It was a quick, and I hate quick fixes. It wasn't a quick fix.
It's like easy results or
easy
quick
results.
Yeah.
Quick results.
Like you feel good about yourself after doing it.
Right. And I say to people, I say, you can do this once. It's a 5-minute workout. But if you feel like you want to do it again, you can do it again. Do it twice. It's just the action. It's just the action of doing it. The hardest part of working out is getting to the place that we work out at, where we work out, right? Either getting to the gym, getting to the basement. It's not the actual workout, because once you start it, you feel good. and you want to keep going. Right. And so it's the act of getting to the place. And so I figured if I can make something so simple for somebody that they will do something that they've been trying to do, it's going to go crazy. And that's exactly what happened. It was different. No one else is showing 5-minute workouts. Not that I've seen. Now I see people doing it.
Yeah.
People that follow me, 5-minute workouts. And they were fun. You know, I had my energy and my personality in there, and I was like, woohoo, you know, let's go. And it worked. And so I always say to people, like, your audience out there listening, you got to be different. You got to stand out. And you have to put some personality in it, right? Like, nobody wants to watch somebody just be like, and then I walk, you know, like, you got to be in the camera. Like, I'm a Leo, so it's not hard for me. I'm like in the camera, you know, face up to the screen, like, come on, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I love every piece of content you put out. I'm like,
Thanks.
so good. So good. And that's so true. Like, I just moved into a new apartment a couple months ago, and for the first time I have a gym in my building. It's literally down the stairs. And sometimes the hardest part of it is actually getting myself out of my apartment, down the stairs into the gym. And so making easy wins for people is super beneficial. And I think a lot of people do that through, free downloads or, worksheets and things like that. But there's something to know about your energy coming off. That's why I love podcasting and video and showing your face, because that's how people can really connect with you. I'm sure if you didn't show your face and your energy, no offense, but like that many people would not follow you,
right.
you know?
I know, but you said it. It's quick win was the word I was looking for.
Yeah,
When I said quick
yeah.
results, quick win. It is a quick win. Yeah, for sure. You have to find that energy. And yeah, it might be scary at first. And like, all these people are looking at me and they're judging me. You know what? No one remembers 2 seconds after they move on. You know, once
Right.
they see your video, they may judge you for a half a second. And first of all, if they're judging you, it's just a projection of themselves, number one. And number two, they scroll on and they're judging the next person. Right?
Exactly.
And so you have to just put yourself out there and say, I don't give a shit, because this is what I love. This is who I am.
Yeah.
And this is how I'm going to show up. And that's what people resonate with the most, is your most authentic self, no matter how weird or funny or crazy or whatever you think you
Yeah.
are, you know?
Yeah.
And the only thing I will say about going viral with the workout videos, it kind of put me in a place where only my workout videos were doing really well. And I did not want to turn into the workout girl. Right.
Yeah.
And so you have to be careful. Like, I knew that the workout video would do it, but I was like, maybe if I can just get the big following and then kind of just nurture them over to my mostly mindset stuff, because
Yeah.
I'm a mix of, it's mindset, nutrition, and health, and moving your body. But it was like everybody just wanted to see the workouts. And I was like, it's so much more. Like, these workouts aren't going to work if your mindset is not in the right place.
Right.
So,
Like if you're stressed and you're focusing on weight loss, maybe those
yeah.
things don't go hand in hand. And so
Yeah.
you teaching them everything. And I think a lot of people, there's a say, like, what is it? Like, you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And
Right.
so once they get into your network, okay, maybe they are interested in the workouts, but they don't know that they need the mindset work until you tell them that they need the mindset work. And then they're like, this makes so much sense.
Yeah, it's exactly how it goes. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So with your content too, like, how do you get the ideas for what you create?
A lot of times, it's been difficult because I stopped my one-on-one coaching.
Yeah.
And I used to get all my content ideas from talking to my clients because they would say things to me and I'd be like, oh my gosh, this is a great idea for content. Like, example, I just made a reel on this. One of my clients said, I used to be so strong. I used to run marathons. I said, I don't care what you used to do. I don't care what you used to do. That's the past. What I care about is what you're doing right now and what you're going to do tomorrow and the next day that is in alignment with your future goals. Who you were in the past doesn't matter anymore. It's who you are right now. And I was like, so that's what I told her. And I'm like, writing down like my content
You're like,
yeah, I'm like, and so I just made a reel. I don't care that you used to run marathons. I don't care that you
yeah.
meditated every day. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's gone. Who are
Mhm.
you today and what are you doing that is in alignment with who you want to be and how you want to feel?
That's so powerful. I love that. I love that so much. I mean, talking to your clients, you know, when you were doing one-on-one does bring a lot of content in, but also I'm sure with the comments you're getting and the people who
Mm-hmm.
are DMing you, that's like a whole new set of like wider reach of content almost.
Oh yeah, for sure. The comments and the DMs, and also I read a lot.
Yeah.
And reading books gives me a lot of content too. And just being in public and watching people, that's content right there. It's just always, I'm always on like looking for content,
Yeah.
what I can use.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I was saying earlier, with when something's meant to happen, like you'll make it happen. And I think that's really true also with the course that you released, because you were talking about this course for a while before you launched it, but at that point you didn't have like a huge following. And so
Mhm.
once you did get that following, then you were like, now is the time to do my course. And I think that that's like that intuition right there. Like maybe it was all meant to be. That's
Mhm.
how it was all meant to work out.
That's why I procrastinated for an entire year to make that
Exactly.
course.
The universe was like, hang on, your following's
Hang on.
coming.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about your course and kind of how you maybe some marketing tips that you might have?
Sure. Yeah. So I have a course called Make Shit Happen, and it's 8 modules. And it's exactly what I did to create the life that I'm living right now. There are a couple extra things that I didn't know about that I've now used to help me grow with my goals and in my business and all of that. And so I incorporated those things. So I launched it. Gosh, I launched it on my 3-week trip with Liz Landine when we were out in the mountains, which many people, and even the course that I'm in that's teaching me how to create my course, said, do not launch a course when you are not at home, when you're traveling. And I was like, oh, please, I can do this. Because I thought, and so did Liz, we talked about this, that I'm going to be in my element. Like I'm going to be camped. I'm going to be out in the woods, the mountains of Colorado, living my best life, doing the things that I love. And so launching this course while I'm doing those things is just so authentic, right? Like, hey, I'm watching this course make shit happen while I'm actually making shit happen, you know? But boy, it was challenging
Mm,
for sure, because so many things came up while we were traveling that really got in the way of me making content or writing emails. I mean, we had a flood watch that we had to move to a different place. We had, I bought a Starlink before we left to make sure we had internet. So we always had great internet. So that wasn't a problem. That thing's amazing, by the way. Can put a little link down below for Starlink.
is that like a Wi-Fi?
Although I'm not too thrilled with Elon Musk, but it's
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
It's him, but he's got a
We
good
all have our
setup.
feelings towards them right now.
Right. But it was just challenging, just living life and trying to launch a course out in the woods or the mountains of Colorado. So, but how did I market it? I did a lot of emails. Liz actually helped me write a lot of my emails. She was being my business coach. Well, she's not my business coach, but she was acting as my business
Yeah,
coach.
I love Liz.
I
She's
know
great.
she's amazing. We will put her below. Well, I don't know.
Definitely.
So yeah, so just a lot of, I worked on my emails and I talked about it constantly. And I just said to myself, there were times when I thought, I'm going to drive people crazy talking about it. But here's the thing. The more I talked about it, the more people saw. And if people didn't want to hear about it, they were never going to buy from me to begin with. And I had a lot of people unsubscribe from my email list. I had a lot of people unfollow me, but it made it better for me because more people who were in alignment with what I was coaching got to see it and got to sign up.
Yeah.
It's just, you want to filter those people out anyway.
Yeah.
Right? You need to applaud your unsubscribe. When you see people unsubscribe, be happy because now they're not taking up space in your email program. And, like I did a clearance of my cold subscribers on ConvertKit, and now I get it for free because I cleared out like 800 people.
Right. Exactly.
Well, not free, you still pay, but it's the lowest amount.
Yeah. I had a client in the past who she was a branding coach for women, like personal branding, and she had all these male followers. She's like, remove them, get them out
Yeah.
of here. And so this was
Yeah.
back in my virtual assistant days, and I literally just scrolled through her following, like removing all these men. I was like,
It felt
empowering.
good,
Like,
right? I
I
was going
love
to
it.
say, you probably felt
I'm
empowered.
like, get
Yeah.
out of here. No men allowed.
Peace
No
out.
place.
Yeah. Yeah, it is empowering. And I always celebrate, there's times when I see, well, the other day, I don't know if you were part of it, but I lost like 600 followers on Instagram
Mm.
overnight. I woke up and I was like,
You're like,
oh my
where'd they
gosh.
go?
But the first thing I thought was, they must have been bots. I'm just going to
Yeah.
celebrate it. I'm going to celebrate it because we can fall into a hole. It was a glitch on Instagram. I got them all back.
Oh, okay.
It happened to like so many people. Like Brock Johnson lost like 6,000 followers overnight or
Oh
something.
my
I know.
gosh.
He's got 250. I don't know. He's got a ton. But here's what happens when we feel an emotion or a feeling and we just focus on it. Because I woke up and I did my thing. I try not to look at my phone before my morning routine, or else it just distracts me for the rest of the day. Whole nother topic. But I did look at my phone and I was like, oh my gosh, I lost 600 followers. What did I do? And so your head starts going into this rabbit hole of thoughts, and you have to stop it, or else it'll be your whole day, your week, your month, right? You just get caught on it, and what you focus on expands. And so I just said, stop, Mary. It wasn't anything you did. It wasn't anything you posted. They're probably bots or, whatever. Just and so if you fall into that trap of blaming yourself, and it ended up being that Instagram glitch. So
Yeah.
it would have been hours of me being like questioning what I did wrong when it
Yeah.
had nothing to do with me.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to realize that when we have these feelings about, why am I not making any followers? What am I doing wrong? Acknowledge those feelings and then just move on and see what you can do differently. Try different things out, right? Not get caught up in these negative feelings that are going to show up on social media. People feed off that energy.
Yeah. And I know you mentioned you are a Leo, right? So showing up is no problem. But did you ever feel like once you got more followers, like rapidly, you were kind of like nervous to post, or did anything change with that? I think for me, I'd be like, there's so many people watching.
No, I was completely opposite. I was like, okay, I got the followers. Now I don't want to post every day. Like I was kind
Yeah.
of like, now I want to take a break. It was very overwhelming. I will tell you that. It was
Yeah.
extremely overwhelming. And I can tell the story about how I tell people this, that I manifested my following. And I can talk about that if you want.
Sure.
But so I kept saying, like, I can't launch this course because I don't have a following, which is
Yeah.
it was an excuse, right? It was basically an excuse. And it's exactly what I did because I wanted to start my whole business off with a podcast, which I still have not done, Haley. But I said, why would I start a podcast? I don't have the following. I want to build my following up. That's why I started my Facebook group and the blog, whatever. Do not use that excuse at all. Just start. It doesn't matter. You don't need the following. You'll get the following. But I was saying, I need the following. And so I meditate. I've been meditating for 25 years since college. And I just started doing these Joe Dispenza meditations. There's a morning one and there's an evening one. And they're amazing. They're like 25 minutes. And for almost a year straight, it was a very long time. It was probably, almost a year. I did these meditations religiously. And every time I did them, he tells you, like, imagine what it would feel like and blah, blah, blah. So I visualized for 25 minutes, my following, my phone blowing up, likes, I just visualize this and I felt it, right? Because when you meditate and when you visualize, when you manifest, it's not just thinking about it, and you also have to do something, but it's also about actually feeling that energy. What will it feel like? You have to act like it's already happening to you, and how you would feel. I would have the chills. I'd be down in my basement. I'd be like, wow, like my phone, like really acting like it's happening. Well, one day I was sitting on my couch and I started living my meditation. Like my phone just started blowing up, and I was like, what is happening? And like thousands of comments and likes and follows. And it started on TikTok. And then like a week later, it happened on Instagram. So it was, I don't know, it was a month, 6 weeks, maybe 2 months of just constant. And I was like, this is crazy. Like I had to turn my notifications off. Now, people out there are probably saying, oh, poor you, like, but I'm telling you, it was very overwhelming because you
No,
want to
I think it would be overwhelming. That's what I'm saying. Like, for me, I'd be like, oh my gosh, there's so many people now to take care of, to teach, to help. Like,
yeah.
it's like
I
more and
looked at
more.
that as I was grateful for it. Like I was
Right.
excited to, like, oh my gosh, look how many more people's faces I can get in front of. Like
Ah,
I wasn't nervous now because all these people, you could put me in a stadium of 50,000 people and I will run, I will perform, right? Something. I
yeah.
don't know what I will perform. Like I don't,
You'd
that
figure
doesn't
it out.
bother
Yeah.
me. Yeah. Like maybe when I was younger, oh, somebody's going to, I don't give a shit what people think about me anymore. It doesn't matter. They don't affect me. Right. So that was not what I was nervous about or anything or overwhelmed about. I was overwhelmed that, oh my gosh, like now I have to respond to all these comments and I have to like, it was just so consuming and just like watching it happen was, it was a lot, and I'm the one that's like, oh, I can handle it. But whew, it was crazy. And then for like 3 weeks, I was making 500 followers a day. It was nuts. I've lost a lot, because I think a lot are bots and they come and go. But yeah, I wasn't overwhelmed by showing up more in front of more people. It was more about just responding and
Yeah.
seeing it all happening. And it was crazy because I was like, I just meditated on this for like every day for like a year and it's
Yeah.
happening.
Manifestation is powerful. I was reading, what is it called? Rich as Fuck by
Oh,
Amanda
I
Frances.
love that book.
I
Yes.
just finished it maybe a month ago, and I'm like,
Oh,
this is so good.
uh-huh.
So good. Do you have any other book recommendations? I know you said that you read all the time.
Oh my gosh, I have so
Not to
many
put you on the
books.
spot.
Yeah, I actually have a list, and you can maybe put it in the show notes
Yep.
of all my favorite books. I have an Amazon storefront.
Okay.
I it's so crazy. I love Atomic Habits
Mm.
by James Clear, and this is where I kind of got my micro shifts idea. He calls them micro habits or micro. What does he call it? Micro. Oh gosh, I can't even think. But I didn't want to steal his words, so I came up with micro shifts, and I was using the word micro shifts like small daily action steps to make lasting results.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, gosh, I don't even know how it happened, but I found the author Brianna Weist, and she is amazing. And she also talks about micro shifts. And I was like, oh my gosh, people are going to think I took this word from her because she talks about creating your future self and reverse engineering and creating these small daily action steps. And I'm like, that is exactly what I talk about.
And
Like
what you've been saying
literally,
for so long,
I've
right?
been talking about it for so long before I even read about
Yeah.
Brianna Weiss. And now I'm obsessed with her because we are so in alignment with each other on what we talk about that I always do little readings from her books. She is The Mountain Is You is my probably my favorite book of hers. It's really amazing. So, and I'm rereading The Untethered Soul for like the fourth time. So that's one of my favorite books as well. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, thanks for all of those. I'll definitely put them in the show notes for everyone because I always think as entrepreneurs, I think reading too much can be a thing, but not reading enough is also a bigger issue. And so
Yeah.
it's all about
Yeah.
balance, right?
Right. Yeah, and
Awesome.
finding stuff that you enjoy, like not just stuff that you feel like you're forced to read because you need
I
to
know,
know it.
yeah. I always, whenever I'm reading and I get like bored of it, I'm like, I don't have to do this. I'm not in school. I can stop or I can keep going. Like it's all my
Mm-hmm.
choice. And so, yeah, super important to remember. Well, to start wrapping up this conversation, because there's been so much value in this, I would love it if you, and I'm excited for what you're going to say, I would love it if you could share 3 action steps for the audience that they can start with today to move forward, whether it be business, life, goals, wherever you want to challenge them. Just 3 challenges.
Well, number one, I definitely think people need to get clear on their why. And we already talked about that. It is so important because a lot of times we want to do things and we don't know why we want to do them. And so we don't put all of our effort into it, right? Or we don't feel like showing up today. We don't feel like doing the work. But when you know your why and you remind yourself of the reasons why you are showing up and doing the things you're doing, it gives you a little, it kind of re-inspires you and kind of gives you a little push to say, you've got to just go do it. Now, on the other side of that is also giving yourself some grace, right? If you need a break, I'm not the type of person that hustle. Like, I don't believe in that hustle culture. I feel like grace and ease is really important, and taking care of yourself and providing yourself with self-care so you can show up at your best, like we spoke about earlier. So finding your, was that one or two? Finding your why.
I think that was one. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Two more things. Being your most authentic self, figuring out who that person is and asking yourself if that is who is showing up every single day. And asking yourself, if it's not, what are you hiding? What are you holding back? What are you afraid to share? Who are you afraid to be in front of other people, and why? And then stop it. Right? So figuring out your why, figuring out who your most authentic self is, and seeing if that's who is actually showing up. And a third action step, I would say, yeah, work on your mindset for sure, because people want to eat healthier, they want to move their body, they want to do, start a business, they want to do all these things, but it all comes down to your mindset. If your mindset is not in the right place, you can't make anything happen. Your mindset will always 110% get in the way if you have not worked on it, and if it's not in the right place. Absolutely. And some things that I would suggest, people are probably like, why do I work on my mindset? Meditation is huge. I've been meditating, like I said, for 25 years. I had a lot of anxiety when I was in college, and it has changed my life. I meditate every single day without fail. Gratitude journaling, any kind of journaling, is super important. Gratitude journaling, I highly recommend, because not only do you start thinking about what you're grateful for in the moment, but once you start practicing gratitude journaling on a regular basis, it forces you throughout your day to start recognizing things that are in the moment, right? A lot of times we're so stuck in our past, or we're constantly thinking about our future, that we forget about the present moment. And that's the most important moment. And gratitude journaling and meditation and regular journaling, visualizations, affirmations, all those things will get you back into that present moment and will help you get into that positive mindset. And things work out. This is my bonus one. Now you got me going. I got a bonus one. Things work out. They always do. And people say I'm afraid to fail. And my mantra is, failing is quitting or never starting. So if you take action, you've already decreased your chances of failing by 50%. And if you don't give up, that's the other 50%. You will succeed, but you just have to keep going.
I love those. I absolutely love those. Thank you so much for sharing those. And I'm just so proud of you and everything you've done. I know, we connected like early on in your journey, and just like seeing your growth. I'm just so impressed by you.
Oh, thanks.
You're killing
Thank
it.
you,
You're
Haley.
killing it.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. You're doing pretty damn good yourself. So
Thank you.
Yeah. even if you're, what did you say? Don't worry about your following. There's a lot of people with low followings that are killing it.
Yeah,
it's not
totally.
The numbers. That's the other thing. We talked a lot about my numbers, but here's the thing, and I'm going to be totally transparent. I know we're closing this up, but I think this is really, really important to share, because people think, and I was one of them, that once you have the numbers, you're going to be selling like crazy. And guess what? That didn't happen. Didn't happen. I remember texting you saying, I think it was you, I don't know, I texted so many people saying, I cannot believe that I have almost 70,000 followers and I can't make a sale. I can't make a sale. So it doesn't matter. Now that's changed. It's taken time, and I've changed like my things that I'm offering. So that has changed. so it's important to go back and figure out what is wrong, what's not working.
Yeah.
But just because you have 50, 60s or 10,000 whatever, doesn't mean you're going to have money coming in, because
Totally.
that's not how it works.
No, I think that's a really good thing to note too, because a lot of people that I work with, they're like, I can't start my podcast till I have a following, or I can't
Right. Well,
start a
that's exactly
course.
why I said don't do that, because
Yeah.
the following doesn't, it doesn't always complement it doesn't always make certain that you're going to have sales and clients and all this stuff. It's not like I got these 70,000 followers and now I'm a millionaire. Like that, this is not even close to being true. I think as I continue to grow and continue to make content, I think that will change, and it has changed, but I think it will continue to change.
Absolutely.
So I think it's really important for me to be transparent about that yes, I got the following, but it didn't turn around to create sales immediately at all.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or even within a short period of time, or medium period of time. Took a long time.
But like you're saying, just like staying authentic to yourself and your why is what will get you those sales. So Mary, where can people connect with you, and what do you have going on that people can get involved with you?
So I am the Joy Formula on both TikTok and Instagram. So just the Joy Formula. And I'm actually doing something a little different for this holiday season. Now, I am not I don't believe in New Year's resolutions, and I don't believe in waiting for January 1st because it's an arbitrary date to start on your goals. However, because we're humans and because January 1st feels like a fresh start for everybody and everybody wants to make changes come the new year, I decided that I want to support those people that are still going to do that and not start their goals during the holiday season. So I am creating an 8-week whole body boot camp. So it's going to be workouts. There's going to be mindset, nutrition. I'm going to have live cooking classes, which everybody loves the live cooking classes. Yeah. There's going to be an awesome community that is not on Facebook. So if you're not on Facebook, you don't have to get on Facebook, but there's going to be tons of support, accountability, week workouts, nutrition, all that stuff. So those doors will be opening at the end of this month to register. And then my Make Shit Happen course will relaunch in 2023. And I'm planning on starting a paid membership. So I'm really excited about those 3 things.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you so much. And I'll put everything down in the show notes so people can come and connect with you. And at the very least, if you're listening, just go check out Mary's Reels, her TikTok, 10 out of 10 content.
Thank you. It's just kind of silly.
I love it all. Thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah, thank you, Haley.
Thank you for listening to the Employee to Boss podcast. If you made it to the end of this episode, I hope that you implement the actionable steps from this week's experts so you can get started with your business today. Please rate, review, and subscribe to the Employee to Boss podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. It helps more than you could ever imagine. Remember, a little progress each day leads to big results. We come out with a new episode every Tuesday. To access our show notes, transcripts, and courses, please check out espressopodcastproduction.com.